Hey beauties, good evening to you. Beautiful people, I wonder if they sick the news on me, SIC. I wonder if they have done that because I don't know. I'm wondering if I should avoid watching the news. I could hardly believe my ears today. And Jamaicans, let me tell you something. If we continue down this path, our end is not going to be good. Our fate is not going to be good. I want somebody to tell me in what name does a school, even with, I'm assuming with schools, when you have vendors that are allowed, these are known vendors and known products that they sell to the students. But how is it, beautiful people, that you have a vendor that comes on, is able to sell children some sweets that are ganja-laced? And I was listening to the news that it has something, I don't remember the name of it, and I don't want to call it the wrong way, THC. It sounded very abrasive. Based on how they called the element, it sounded corrosive, it sounded abrasive. Right? Ganja-laced. School administrators, I'm talking about the adults. Maybe there is some confusion in terms of when a child comes to a school. Remember that by law they're in your care. In other words, if something should happen to them and they were in your care and you were negligent, you can be charged. Because they're underage, they're vulnerable, and they need protection. So maybe I'm going from my time and before and even a little bit after my time. You can't just have, in my time we could not even leave the school compound to buy anything. We couldn't. We were forbidden to do such. We couldn't do it. I'm telling you that. So I realized things and times change. And I'm talking about high school. This is primary school. I wouldn't even bother mention the prep school I went to. My alma mater was. I cannot recall us as students buying anything from any vendors unless our parents, my mother used to send one of those taxi type people to pick me up because I was, young, bikini. Or she would come for me herself sometimes. Right? When the man would forget or whatever it is. Because, sometimes you're playing and probably him can't wait and he left. I can't recall that. They accounted for us. Sometimes you wondered if they were paid as not watchdogs. You wondered if they were paid as security guards alongside being a teacher. Because you could not move a muscle from the school. We could not. So I didn't know what it was to purchase from a vendor. I didn't. Maybe that is why I'm not big on doing it in this present day and age. I hardly do it because we could not do it as students. I'm talking both at prep level, some would be primary, and at the high school level. Maybe they were so fearful. They probably didn't want any lawsuit to come to them. What do you mean a whole heap of students buy ganja-laced sweetie from a man they didn't know? So how the other vendors allow this man to come in? Nonsense you're telling people of Jamaica. That's nonsense. It's like saying that I have my door open, a man walk in and I just welcome the man I watching the man walk and take out the thing. I'm talking about if I'm not held up at gunpoint. Well, God forbid, That is how it sounds. So a man I'm talking to a man just walks up there and decides he's going to take things out of my house and goes about his way. What kind of rubbish? And what do you mean you don't know that vendor? It's a one-off situation. That one-off could have killed the students, could have driven them crazy, could have, I've heard of how powerful that thing can be, I've heard of how powerful that thing can be. I remember somebody said they give a child a teaspoon just to help them with some respiratory issue. And when the picnic starts, they're seeing double per two persons in terms of the one individual, they're seeing double of them. Double this, double that. That's how powerful the thing is. Ganja-laced sweetie. I can't imagine to pick them by a whole heap and eat it. Because kids are. How children are. So I don't understand. Don't you vet those vendors? It must be, those vendors must have known the man. They must have known the man. That's crazy to say it's a vendor that they don't know and just come up. So he comes up, sells the students the sweeties. Many of them are hospitalized. One mother, she said she was in fasting and prayer. And it was when she was chewing the sweetie, thank you, Jesus, God protected that little girl that she said she remembered her mother's words. God, intervened. and save that little girl, because maybe that could have created a serious damage to her brain, to her cells. So when you mean, I hear whoever saying it's a one-off thing. Come on, madness. And I can't buy into this thing that is a man just walks up. It's like you saying the person just walk up into your place without holding you up at gunpoint, knife point, without trying to manhandle you, and just walk and take your things, and you watch him walking with your things, walking away with your things. These are children. They're vulnerable. God will hold us accountable. I don't think you're understanding. God will hold us accountable, because I find that the enemy has let loose. I was listening to the news about Talia, the 9-year-old. I didn't realize it. I was confusing the stories, I was kind of mixing and it's like a metamorphosis I was creating, thinking the 8-year-old and 9-year-old, because the ages are basically the same, right? Sorry, beautiful people, I cut a bit to hear the whole CIBC industrial action. So regarding the, what's her name, Talia, the 9-year-old, I was confusing it a bit with the 8-year-old girl who was raped and killed, and the fellow escaped police custody from the hospital. And when I was listening, when I'm listening to the news talking about them doing an autopsy on this, oh my God, on this body, this little child body that God considers precious. He said, when you harm any one of them, it is better you put a milestone around your neck and jump off into the sea. And Jamaican people are not realizing the atrocities that are happening to our women and our children, and of late more so our children, not realizing that the enemy is using a very sly, devious, cunning way to get rid of our children. He's coming in different ways, Remember that the enemy wants a sort of, he doesn't want any more, he doesn't want the population to grow. That is why certain behaviors and lifestyle he will thrive in. That's what he likes, because it's less people for him to bring with him to hell. That's it. So all of you people who say not serve him, don't worry, man. Don't go and get assassin. All him doing laughing at all of you. You could have served him and talk about when I say Satanist, Obia people. Do all of that. He's just laughing at every one of you. He's laughing. Jamaican people, we cannot continue to watch our children go down this road, We cannot continue to watch our children go down this road. Had it been another school, I would be sorry for that school administration. And the parents, they would have get sue, boo, and flu. What you mean? What have you? What you mean? A man just comes up. What kind of a madness is that? See, one day they say ban vendors, and that way, you see, it's very difficult, because some of these vendors, maybe they have children going to the very same primary school, grandchildren, that's their mainstay. So it's quite difficult to say that maybe they developed a relationship over the years. They have sold good products that have not caused any problems for the children, teachers, and whomever that may purchase. It's very difficult for me to say this, but you see, they're pushing people to think that way, to say ban them. But I'm not one to box bread out of people's mouth. However, if it means that I have to choose the lesser of the two evils, better them go on. And the picnic them remain alive and well. What do you mean ganja-laced sweets? What do you mean ganja-laced sweet? They used to have this red sweet where people say I don't know how true it is, that how it was so addictive that cocaine must have been in it. Red up your mouth, red. And the only way I remember getting a baby one or two of those was from friends, because I never saw that. One, it could not have come in our schools, because as I said, I don't even recall vendors, being at our schools. It was not allowed. High and prep, or prep and high. Madness. This is we gone mad. I don't really want the wrath of God to come down and mash up and sink down Jamaica like I'm sink the Port Royal. And it on Giddy Jamaica with lean up. You better protect your children, You better be protect them. And I realize it come like this. You see, you take prayer out of school, You see how the school then becoming cursed, little by little. You see how the schools are becoming cursed, little by little. It moving from dunce bat, illiteracy, no emotional intelligence, to pick me, I get sick. They are killed, all kinds of things. You better make a call in an election, sure. But remember that God is going to hold every culpable party accountable. Madness. I'm so upset. Guys, follow me on TikTok. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share this message.